A steel grey dawn over the Arctic shelf. Beneath the waves, a new class of threat glides silent. That's Russia's Poseidon nuclear torpedo. Pass traditional defenses and deliver a nuclear payload to U.S. shores. On the surface, a different shape emerges, and that's America's Manta Ray, an unmanned underwater vehicle laying the backbone of a new surveillance web under the ocean. But the geography is unforgiving. The Poseidon's likely routes run through deep oceanic trenches and undersea canyons, exploiting the vastness of the North Atlantic and Arctic basins. These corridors stretch for thousands of kilometers, with depths exceeding 3,000 meters in certain places, so that's a terrain that has long favored stealth over detection. The US's Manta Ray now changes the equation drastically. Deployed in clusters, these autonomous vehicles can operate for months at a time, powered by efficient energy systems and designed to anchor to the seafloor. Each unit carries a suite of passive and active sonar arrays able to monitor acoustic signatures across wide swaths of ocean. The Manta Ray's sensors can detect low-frequency sounds generated by large underwater vehicles, even those engineered for quiet operation like the Russian Poseidon. So how does this shift the balance between the United States and Russia? The Poseidon is not a conventional torpedo in the general sense. It measures over 20 meters in length with a range exceeding 10,000 kilometers and a speed of up to 100 knots. Its nuclear propulsion allows it to loiter or maneuver unpredictably, bypassing choke points and avoiding known sensor nets. Anti-submarine warfare assets like the frigates or P-8 patrol aircraft struggle to cover such vast, deep, and dynamic environments. Meanwhile, the Manta Ray's endurance and autonomy allows it to fill these gaps easily. By forming a distributed sensor network along likely approach vectors such as the Greenland's Iceland and United Kingdom gap, even the Norwegian Sea and the approaches to the U.S. East Coast, the U.S. Navy can establish persistent surveillance without the need for constant manned patrols. Data from each Manta Ray node is relayed via acoustic modems or surface satellite bursts, feeding into a real-time operational picture. As always, this is not a moral judgment, it's an analysis of incentives and logistics. But differently, the US is building a tripwire, which is a system that can cue rapid response forces if a Poseidon is detected in the ocean. Presence forces Russia to consider whether its most advanced underwater weapon can truly remain undetected. If the Poseidon's acoustic signature is logged and tracked, its deterrent value diminishes. The US can then vector attack submarines, deploy mobile mines, or even launch anti-torpedo interceptors along the projected path. That said, the Poseidon's design still presents challenges. Its depth and speed complicates interception. The Manta Ray sensors must distinguish between civilian maritime traffic, marine life, and genuine threats, which is an ongoing technical hurdle. Could strain response assets or create escalation risks. So by any measure, this changes the calculus for both the US and Russia. Because the US is not only enhancing its coastal defenses, but also signaling a new level of military posturing. The deployment of unmanned surveillance networks is a visible commitment to countering novel nuclear delivery systems made by Russia. It raises the stakes for both sides, as Russia may respond by developing quieter propulsion, decoy systems, or alternative routes. So if we zoom out, the Manta Ray's network is a part of a broader shift towards autonomous, persistent surveillance and undersea warfare. And as both sides invest in new technologies, the undersea domain becomes a contested space, not just for submarines, but for fleets of unmanned sensors and countermeasures. And now we're seeing the arms race moving deeper, quieter, and further from shore. The question now is not whether the Poseidon can reach its target, but whether it can do so unseen. And the answer will shape the next phase of U.S. Russia nuclear deterrence as both nations adapt to a world where the ocean floor is no longer sanctuary. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe for more.